All right, welcome back, everyone. The stream is going to be back up live. We had some technical problems, and the match was interrupted due to, I guess, internet connection interruption.
Unfortunately, so we'll have to remake the game.
Right.
That's my guess.
I mean, I imagine so. I don't think any player is going to surrender this one. Both players, probably from their perspective, had a great hand. Chakki had a double equality with Pyromancer Consec, and on the other side, Payton with a double Gaddison Auctioneer felt probably pretty comfortable. So it was anyone's game, and in that matter, like I guess, it doesn't feel too bad, at least as a caster, to have to recast
that's
this.
True. Both players had a decent hand, and anyone could have won.
Right, so Zariel is there for Payton as well as the Earthling Farseer. The Earthling Farseer is mostly there to harass the Paladin in the early game, but there's no coin this time. Chakki is going second.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah, it is a really big difference. And Payton, you can tell in his face that he's just like, well, I think this is going to go a lot worse than it did in the first iteration of this match. But anything can still change, you know, with the draws. It's just really unfortunate for Payton.
Well, Chakki might just blank on draws as well.
It's possible, but the True Server Champion is a good one, at the very least, to keep you alive until the reinforcements come in.
Double Deadly Poison. Feels like this card in the new meta is basically like a useless card.
Honestly,
in most of the games.
Honestly, Deadly Poison in every list that I've made, I've replaced with Journey from Below. I haven't found a good use for Deadly Poison that was good enough to just justify including it over the flexibility sometimes of the Death Battle minion, you know, Nubarak against Control Warrior.
Well, it's good against, let's say, Beckoner of Evil.
Sure, or Zoo in some cases.
Or Aspirant and maybe Zoo, but other than that, it's not a great card at all.
Yeah, in this matchup, it finds a target in the Acolyte of Pain, but that is about it. And it's not there for Chakki, who's got a very slow starting hand, still no equality. So both players got a worse deal than they did last time.
Yep, they got the other end of the stick. Turn 3 for Payton will be most likely just Farseer and heal up to 30 after killing the recruit from Chakki.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a harassing card, right? Like in the early game you play it and you're forcing out an answer that either is an Aldor very early or a Coin True Server Champion. Otherwise the Paladin takes, what, like 6 damage from this guy. Doesn't feel too good.
Well, the Peacekeeper will calm down, and now do you answer to this Peacekeeper? Because
I kind of like the Cold Blood play, yeah.
Cold Blood?
How do you feel about the crazy all-in on Cold Blood? Where you dagger up Deadly, Cold Blood, and you go face, and you kill it 3-3 with your dagger?
Well, that's actually very good when you talk about it. Yeah, I like this a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to commit the Cold Blood to this, but it definitely feels like an option. The question is True Server Champion waiting for me around the corner, or is it not?
Ah, he didn't go for the Cold Blood.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been a second Peacekeeper.
Good thing he did it. He does have the deck list. There's 2 Humilities, 2 Aldors. So put that into perspective with the True Servers, and it looks like it probably wouldn't have done, you know, the amount of damage that you're looking for, which is likely going to be done in burst, right?
Well, he wants to keep that Cold Blood for the conceal turn.
Right. Yeah,
Conceal to conceal without a quality and Pyromancer or a quality and consecration might be deadly.
Yeah, and right now there is no equality. This is a Cold Blood-like Toxin, the Briarthorn Toxin, plus 3 attack to a minion of your choice, exactly like the Blessing of Might for rogues. So with Cold Blood and that is plus 7 attack whenever he gets to hit.
This card, I mean,
Zariel,
I have problems with
I don't.
X with, you know.
Honestly, they don't like us. You can't possibly make a card called Yasharada's Rush and Zariel and hope that the casters are never going to slip up. Or maybe that's a part of the fun, right? It's just, yeah, let them mess up.
Or whatever. But in general, this card is awesome. Just puts you in most scenarios. You get 2 cards that fit your strategy.
Yeah, it's good.
Always.
So one of the things that I love about Zero, I think over spare parts, is that because it is rogue specific, you can make cards that are rogue specific. Like the cards that you give somebody, like a neutral mech, can't possibly give cards like Toxins for the class, for a neutral class. It would be way too powerful.
Yeah, that's correct. And a second Toxin is a card draw.
Yeah, that's a good one for Gaddison. As soon as you find, you need to find Gaddison. So believe me, you're gonna dig very soon.
Maybe even now.
I think that's definitely a good time, yeah. I would be surprised not to see
Blood
something.
Toxin, second agent, definitely not something that that Payton wanted to get.
He can if he wanted to go all in and go insane on the backstab with the the SI, and then you kill it, the first part of the body, and then you eviscerate, and then you know, just go crazy with it.
What's kind of funny is the fact that Karen didn't see play for a very long time. I would say since the release of the next one.
The days of Argent Commander were the days of Cairn, and after that point, when Lothar and Belcher came out, Cairn was basically missing in action.
Yeah, that's true.
And a lot of people, you know, if a new player came up to you and asked you, hey, is Cairn a good card? You would say, yes, but no. And they couldn't quite figure out why you were saying that, because it's really hard to wrap your head around it until you play the card. But nowadays, yeah, it's a craft. I would consider crafting it.
Now there will be a lot of salty people that disenchanted him because he was useless, and now he's like, oh god.
Leroy as well. A lot of people threw away as soon as it got nerfed. And look at the meta game now. It's basically Leroy's back everywhere.
Leroy's back. Karen is back. What else is back?
Yeah, School of Hard Knocks. I mean, I don't know. Just I want to say Sylvanas is now as good as she used to be. She was, you know, kind of average for a time. A lot of people started cutting her from decks.
The metagame is slowed down, so Sylvanas got a lot of value back.
Right. It also, you know, beats Cthulhu. You just interrupt Cthulhu. You're like, sorry, I'll take that. It just.
I think no one will actually play it when there's Sylvanas on board.
Right. Well, it's like Deathwing. You don't expect Sylvanas to come at the worst possible time, but she does. And as it turns out, Tomb Pillager here is pretty good. You know, dies and gives you a coin. If you pick up Gadgetsan, this hand is still viable. You still have to figure out when you're going to get the Gadgetsan. And right now, look at the amount of humilities in Chakki's hand. You got Eodric the Pure, you know, the ultimate test. Aldor and humility. This is just...
And Payton has to commit to the board. What else can you do?
Yeah, he's going to have to try to just put stuff down and hope Gadgetsan comes up in the next 3 cards. I think he's got about, you know, 3 to 4 turns before things get out of hand.
Giving him so much time?
I think 3 turns is reasonable.
Well, what about just Edric now? Push 4 damage to the face. You can actually push for 8 if you
Okay, but here's the deal.
And then you have 4 damage from the hand on turn 8. 8 damage for 8 mana. Sorry, 4 damage for 8 mana.
That is pretty valuable.
See? He's going for it. I like that.
So Chakki recognizes there's no Gadgetsan, I guess, then. Because that is not a play you make unless you expect there to be no Gadgetsan Auctioneer, right? Because if there is one, then suddenly your board just goes nowhere. You have no equality. Maybe that's because there's no equality. He has to push a bit and all in. And
I like that, because now he's aware that there's only one. I mean, he was aware even before the game because he knows the deck list. But I'm guessing there's only one Farseer. So with one Farseer, you know that he was used on turn 3. There's no more healing. So if you just deal the damage, you win.
I guess if you get him down low enough, yeah. I mean, there's no burst coming out just yet that you can tell. And you do have the Aldor and the Humility. And both players are going to go for the ultimate. I'm all in. Let's just see where that goes. The thing is, the Paladin has healing, but none in hand right now. Double Consecration.
Double Consecration
can wipe the board.
Blessing in disguise here. And if...
That's what, 11 damage this turn? Oh my god!
That's not helpful right now.
On the next turn, he wins.
Unless you go for the 33%. Nah, you just double Consecration that.
Sure, but next turn you win.
Yep.
Even if Eodric goes back to your hand, you win. Wow.
Sweet.
The Gadgetsan can still come out. Let's not sell the bear spell before we actually kill the thing. This is still not 100% won. There's the Aldor humility trade kill play. You know, it's not a bad one. It's a bit slower, but Leroy is a bit more of a threat in that case.
Oh, he's going for the Peacekeeper.
Sure, you don't give the coin, so if Gadgetsan comes out, that's one less. You might not even kill the Pillager. Do you kill it? Do you not kill it? He kills it.
I like he wants to play around the second Cold Blood, and I don't know what else. But
I mean, by doing this, what he's doing is he's keeping the context in case Gadgetsan comes out with like prep, sap, and then everything goes back, and he's got no way to push damage, and he still wins next turn on the back of Ragnaros.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, Sap is here, but no Gadgetsan right now. Oh my goodness.
Well, this doesn't look bad. I mean, Payton has to be very furious about the disconnect.
Right, I mean, you know, there's probably a lot of conspiracy theories going on right now. So the tinfoil hats will be coming out, but it's not our fault. The rematch was done. I still think the last game could have gone either player's way, you know, no matter what happened there. The decision from Chakki throughout the tournament has been nothing short of stellar, so he probably would have had the sense to hold on to some of that removal for really, you know, high-pressure situations. But Payton is down 0-2. against Chakki.
Down 0-2. Yeah, and he won the previous game 3-0. I mean, previous match 3-0.
Right,
so
he just went all in.
He's on a losing streak, and that has to bite.
Especially since now it's basically match life, right? If he loses the next game against Chakki, he's just out. And he's got one deck to do it with, and that is not the Rogue, which he probably was hoping to queue into Chakki repeatedly. Instead, it's going to have to be his Warrior. And even though you are technically, okay to flood the board, let's just put it that way. Paladin equalities you and humilities you all the way to the graveyard. Because Justicar spawns a lot of 1-1s, and every single play you make brings you one step closer to dying to fatigue.
Yeah, that's correct. And this Paladin will have so much resources, just recurring resources in a form of death rattle minions and then just Nzot to seal the deal, that if Payton will not find a faster way to kill just Chakki, let's say before 10-15.
I want to say 15. That's rather quick for this match. Turn 15 sounds reasonable.
Then it might be very difficult for Payton to close out the game.
Yeah, I don't know what Payton exactly is running in his list, like card for card. Chakki knows, so he'll be fully prepared to handle whatever comes his way. He knows there's a Harrison Jones, so obviously Gorhal will be probably used more conservatively than you otherwise might. But still, it's very scary. Chakki can play True Servers. They'll be fine, just throw them away.
Solemn Vigil. Well, there's a lot of card draw, so that's fine.
It's fine at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, the problem is that the Acolyte of Pain will meet his demise with the Fear Vortex. So this is something that will just cut it down a 1-for-1.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the fact that Chakki is not running any weapon hate, I mean, that Gorhal, if Payton is playing it, right, simply won't find an answer.
Still not that great. I mean, Gorhal will buy you a lot of board control,
yeah.
But you pay the price by sacrificing a lot of health, and this might spiral out of control really fast.
Yeah, I think one of the key cards for Chakki is the Justicar Trueheart. I mean, right now we see the Ravaging Ghoul in Payton's hand, which is also essential if you're hoping to deal with all the 1-1s that come down on the board over the course of the game from the Paladin. So it sets up a really nice streak of legendaries that just deal, 5 and then 7 and then 8. And if you can just force a really big board clear, hopefully the only one in the Paladin's hand, followed by some of your bigger threats, then you're good. Ragnaros also does not get nullified by Humility and Aldur.
Great. Well, this will take a lot of time. I would say this is just Taskmaster.
There's not going to be too many spots to use it. I don't hate playing the Taskmaster on the Bloodhoof Brave, but there's no way to curve into it nicely. So you could coin out the Bloodhoof on the following turn, which is great. And if it gets humiliated after the natural Enrage, you can probably find a way to just Cruel Task it back up a little bit of damage, if necessary.
Fine. By not attacking to the 1-1, basically what is being revealed to Chakki, that there's a AoE effect in the hand. Because most likely there will be a second hero power and just attack phase, and Payton will be happy to use the Ravaging Ghoul.
Yeah, I mean, Bloodhoof Brave dies to True Server Champion, so Ravaging Ghoul is obviously in this case better. Cruel Taskmaster may also be held onto until you can push a total of 12 damage with Grom, instead of simply the natural 10, giving you more reach, assuming the Paladin is being a bit greedy with his Forbidden Healings. And Lothar, Chakki's been very slow at pulling the trigger on Forbidden Healings. He's come really close to losing some Ragnaros 25% because of it.
To be honest, I don't think I ever saw him using the Forbidden Healing.
Right! He just keeps holding on to it. Stampeding Kodo is pretty good.
Amazing card in the standard format. That's what I can say. So many targets. Consulman, Imp Gang Boss, Bloodhoof Brave, Acolyte of Pain, Loot Hoarder, Novice Engineer,
Doomsayer. The list does not end. There's always a target, it seems.
Seems like a really good card in current format.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people still don't like the card too much. Because, yes, there are a lot of good targets for it, like Acolyte of Pain, Bloodhoof Brave. But there's also a lot of cards that flood the board with 1-1s, right? And that, if you don't have the AoE to go before the Stampeding Kodo, then in that case it's slightly weaker.
It's true. Forbidden Healing being drawn doesn't really change anything currently.
Consecration's an option.
Consecration seems like a fine option to me.
Yeah, I mean, you can keep the Wild Pyromancer for the equalities later, so Consecration is likely good enough in this spot.
Too bad he didn't have occasion to pair up the Acolyte of Pain with Pyromancer.
Right, to draw himself a lot of cards. Gorehal's there.
I think you want to kill the Ravaging Ghoul just to play for card draw this turn.
The Solemn Vigil, yeah.
Yeah, the Solemn Vigil, you
Good
increase
point.
the amount of mana by 1, so you get 2 card draw. I think that's very important in this matchup because it's basically who will be... The game plan is who will run out of answers at some point.
I mean, at least Starseeker is one of those cards which actually still makes the matchup winnable for Warriors. Because, yes, your threats get answered by massive board clears, but that's the point. You know, the Paladin has a lot of situational removal, but he's only got so many board clears.
Well, there's the first Ragnaros.
Do we see Eadric the Pure? Or just Doomsayer hero power? I mean, it's possible. I mean, Doomsayer just not... Like, there's no big
What do you
answer.
do with the Doomsayer? Well, I mean, otherwise, if you don't play this turn, what's your plan to get the value
Right.
of Doomsayer? You want to play 2 at the same time?
Yeah, I don't see that being very realistic. I mean, you do have to empty the card out of your hand at some point. The question is, when do you expect to need to? And there's no like, unlike something like a N'Zoth deck or Gaddison Auctioneer, there's no good time to have it be a deterrent for something else. It also deters our coin Ragnaros, for all it's worth.
Yep. Well, the Doomsayer will eat a charge from Gorhal, I'm assuming. It's a perfect answer.
That's right. Lots of answers for Doomsayer in the metagame between Crazy Alchemist, Stampede and Kodo, and Gorhal. It seems like everybody's out for the little guy. Yeah, maybe his validated brother will come out one day. Oh, hi! Back-to-back Rag again.
Validated Doomsayer seems like a great option in current metagame as well. It
just
dies to the same things, you know?
Sure, but at least it's validated.
Well, here we go, 50-50 to kill.
And there's no good answer right now.
Well, he misses, but at the same time, 8 damage to the face, not a bad deal.
Yeah, I mean, if there's no Shield Slam... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, if there's no Shield Slam right now, Payton is sitting on a Ragnaros he can't counter. Alexstrasza is not a card you see all day right now in the Warrior list, but in this exact matchup, it could prove to be the winning condition.
I like how Payton kept the coin, because with Elise, it's actually a valuable card.
Yes, that's
it
right.
will turn into a low Walker Cho.
Or
Just mark my words.
I hope so. I really hope so. That would be very... I know, the fate would be there, because usually lower Walker Cho you play with the coin. You know, you want to fill out that opponent's hand. And so he sends it back your way so you can play N'Zoth. Not N'Zoth, but the Yoxeron, right?
Yeah.
For the maximum possible coin play. I kind of like that.
Well, this turn is awkward. What about second Ragnaros? Feels
Sure.
like the best play. It's like,
When?
what else will I do? The important thing is that Chakki saw that the Shield Slam was being drawn by one of the shield blocks, so he might assume that there is no other answer unless you want to just attack into it.
And he is not wrong in this case.
But there's the brawl, right? But
Sure. Do you take the chance, though? It feels like a very risky brawl. I mean, sure, it's a 66%, but it's a disaster if it doesn't work. Whereas you could just use the Elise to guarantee a trade, you know, with your weapon. You lose health in the process, but with Justicar, you can recover it.
yeah, I think so.
At least a good portion of it. Very good draw there. The earlier you find Justicar in any matchup, really, it's good. Lucky for him, Chakki did not find his just yet.
Second Doomsayer, well, that's not a good draw. Edric, or I think just humility here.
Well, you could just play Doomsayer. I mean, the problem is, if you know there's Alex, and you know there is Alexstrasza, leaving a total of 6 on the Justicar and 5 on the weapon, that brings you down to 4 health. Regardless of how you look at this, it's very dangerous.
It is, that's true.
So maybe Eadric the Pure comes out. I wouldn't be surprised. It's a decent board. It kills what's on the board, and you have humilities for the other big minions that come out later on.
Let's see. Other options are basically
Non-existent. I mean,
hero power and humilities. So
Yeah.
putting out the body instead, it's most likely better.
and getting out, of course, like the 7 mana body. Like that's the problem with it, is the fact that you can't weave it in as easily. Okay.
Now we're going somewhere.
Yeah, and somewhere really dangerous potentially, depending on what comes out of this Malkorok. Kit
I don't think
Kats.
you want to use it right now, right?
No, I think you want to squeeze in every bit of value out of this Gorehowl, and the value is going to be punching the face.
For being healing, though.
Sure.
We might see it. Maybe not this turn, because humility is still there. And the
You
warriors
have to
are
be
not
afraid of
playing-
Grom, man. There's a 5 damage weapon. Grom is a scary thought.
Huh. Not an easy choice.
You can equality and then double trade. I mean, you can attack into the Justicar, then equality, then kill Alex. Surely he uses Forbidden Healing here with 29 health left, right?
Yep. 29 for sure.
For show.
For sure, yes.
I kind of like, I'm honestly, this play is kind of interesting because Payton ended up using Alexstrasza to force an early Forbidden Healing, but he didn't.
Early Forbidden Healing.
He did not attack. Well, I say early because the thing is, usually what I would expect here is just for him to attack as he plays Alexstrasza, like push in, say, another 9 damage to bring the Paladin very low, as opposed to rather like a little bit closer to the 30. So he's playing a very long game here.
There's a Rag, there's a Revenge,
Yeah.
and 10 damage to the face.
Now,
I'm guessing this might be the second humility.
or
Yeah, I'm guessing that's the second humility because then you can pair it up with the Kodo and Crucible Champion.
Sure. Okay, so you remove the minions off the board. I mean, I guess you don't really have to use Equality Pyro in the spot. You can wait until the Golden Monkey spam starts. So,
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, you can go Kodo and then you kill the Alexstrasza and then you Humility the Grom. If there's a Spellbreaker, though, it's better, of course, to leave the Grom alive than leave the Alexstrasza alive, because that way he does not get, you know, the Enrage afterwards. So he becomes a 4/8.
Let me think.
Interesting spot to be in for sure.
That's not an easy decision. You can also just go for humility and Doomsayer.
I think Doomsayer, like, if you're gonna play the second Doomsayer, right? Like this would probably be the turn.
Yeah.
All right, makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, if there was gonna be some kind of burst damage coming in, then you already saw the Grom.
So this turn is kind of blank for Payton.
I feel like it all comes down to the Golden Monkey for Payton at this point. And N'Zoth, you know, is a really good play, but Brawl answers it
But
very well.
What? There's no minion.
Not right now, no, but over the long term, like, I feel like the long game will belong to Chakki if it comes to flooding the board.
Oh yeah, I agree about that. I thought you were just saying that N'Zoth right now would be like good. Like,
What are you bringing? You're bringing back literally nothing.
Yet.
There's nothing yet in that N'Zoth.
Great N'Zoth, bro.
Yeah, but it's also really weak to Brawl, so it's really just a matter of how you want to balance out the... The thing is, like, it's not so much the N'Zoth that wins as much as it is the gradual grind. You know, you start with Tyrion, and then Sylvanas, right? And then, you know, you have Cairn. And then, at the very end, you end up playing N'Zoth, and everything comes back. That's kind of the nail in the coffin. Okay, more armor gain. Justicar needs to be found. Oh!
Well, this changes the matchup completely now.
Yeah.
Pressure
this,
from the Twin Rocket hero power.
The Twin Rocket?
Team Rocket, sorry.
Team Rocket is good, I like that. But the 1/1s who are in Golden need to die as soon as possible. These need to be taken out. This is not acceptable.
This will
Okay,
stack up damage really fast.
fine.
Like, how do you deal with those 1/1s now? Do you want to use the Bro for that? I don't think so. You already used one Revenge.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen... So here's the deal. We've seen Chakki play this matchup earlier, you know, in the tournament, and he did exactly what he's doing now, which is play 1/1s and let the Warrior brawl a bad board, and then play more 1/1s and let him run out of brawls and try to armor up out of range of everything. The thing is, last time he did it against Frozen, he had... you know, Frozen did not have the Justicar hero power, so he was gaining a lot less health right now. So the deficit in health isn't too bad for the time being, given that they both played Justicar.
Yeah. Now it's kind of interesting position because Chakki doesn't want to use his hero power anymore because he needs to have one place on the board just to play something else in case he would need to Humility and Kodo something.
Well, he might just trade away a 1/1 before he does it, but... You know,
that's a good point, but
if damage comes from the hand, then yes, you do need to play, say, a Tyrion just to prevent an upcoming combo. You know, often it's not about what's there yet, it's about what's coming next turn. And, ooh, okay.
That's a good tech. But is it worth it? I don't think so, right?
Oh, do you have any 4 health
he
targets?
knows that there is the Malko Rock.
Yeah, it's a curse blade. it's just a curse blade.
Maybe it's just worth it to kill it right away. But you would like to deal with the Armor Smith as well.
You can play
can't
Kodo, but you really don't want
with
to.
the Kodo, so Trucifer Champion is a good option.
Justice Demand. I mean, this is like, you know, a lot of people say Resident Sleeper, but there was a lot of time there with Justicar could have been drawn very earlier in the game by Chakki, and that would have changed the way the matchup worked already. Like, Payton might be down to like 8 health at this point, or early pull the trigger on Brawl.
This seems like might be a second 3-0 for Chakki.
Could we see a Harrison Jones on this spot with a Brawl? You know, try to stay alive, you know? There might be a second Brawl for the N'Zoth turn. It's all about... oh, Sylvanas Brawl is also useful later on, for all that's worth.
Well, he has the coin, so that's possible. And I'm not sure if he's playing Emperor Force and this deck.
He's gonna play Malkorok here. Alright, let's do this. And he gets Perdition's Blade. Oh, Tentacles! What a great card to find right here. People will laugh at me, but it is great in this spot. This is exactly where you envision the card working at its best. Actually, it's funny how it's just terrible in every spot, but here it works. It works. It will wear down Chakki's patience and health by a lot, and very quickly at that.
That's incredible.
That's incredible.
Marvelous!
By the light. Oh, it's the holy light, sorry.
I don't like this one.
That's what he says.
Yeah, but I don't like this.
Wow. 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 I'm playing Priest. You don't understand, like, I'm getting really tilted by this. This does nothing, Chakki. You're filling up his hand. Mill a card. Is he milling?
3, 6,
He
9,
is.
10.
He
Yes,
is.
he is milling a card.
And down goes
And
the
that will
map
be
to the
Elise.
golden monkey. No, it's the
No, it's
Acolyte.
Acolyte.
Okay, great burn at least. Great burn.
Do you think so? I mean, great burn for Payton.
Right, for Payton, not
Yeah.
for Chakki. Payton is like, yeah, sure, I'm happy. Oh man, poor Ooze.
Got wrecked by the weapon. Got destroyed.
Yeah, I'm still making up a petition right now to ask Blizzard to make it so when you upgrade the Tentacles for Arms, you get it back as it was upgraded, instead of having to repay, like, and lose the buffs. But they said no.
I think that might have been too good.
Too good?
Yeah, too
Well,
good.
I think that for a 5-minute 2-2 that comes back forever, this is like a Blingtron weapon, really. Like, it's Blingtron or Malkorok, but it's great in those matchups. Like, right here, this thing shines.
What do you do? Hero power and Sylvanas. You know you have N'Zoth, so the Sylvanas will come back at some point.
Yeah, I like
And you have
Sylvanas,
3,
honestly.
6, 9 cards, so you still have one card draw before you need to actually play something on the board.
You could wait one turn, I don't dislike that. I mean, I really don't mind Sylvanas as a throwaway because of N'Zoth. The only issue is, you also want to make sure that you're not overextending into a Brawl with N'Zoth, so you need to force a Brawl when you play that Sylvanas, right? So fill up the board a little bit, and then play Sylvanas, and the Warrior will be forced to use a suboptimal Brawl before N'Zoth, and you win. Okay, looks like phase damage is coming in. Or at least some kind of pressure, because Tentacles for Arms is infinite damage. It is infinite damage, and the Paladin has limited healing.
The only problem is that a single taunt will stop that infinite damage.
Black Knight is in the hand.
Good job.
I know, I can read cards. I can see the hand.
Now we can cast.
Yeah, that's all you need, really, just eyes. Do you have a pulse and do you have eyes? You two can cast. Well, looks like he wants to
Replay the
just
weapon,
get
hero
back the
power.
weapon. What happens if it can't go back to your hand? It's just like it loops into a bug animation where it just never comes up.
And then the game has to be remade.
That's a really good way to exploit. Oh, hi,
hello.
Black Knight. He knows there's a Black Knight, so there's no surprise there, I think. We'll see the Sylvanas Brawl, though, maybe.
Well, I guess that Chakki would like to bait out the Harrison Jones before he plays Syrian.
Good point. So you might be inclined to play Sylvanas, and then
No, he might just play Trucifer Champion right now.
the second one to
Yeah,
attack.
attack and play the second one. Then maybe Payton will think about the, actually, does he if he replays the weapon with
He gets it back.
He gets it back.
Yeah,
right?
I've played Tentacles for Arms in my deck, legit. Like, I'm not kidding, and it's actually okay. I've won every match I play with that deck. I'm like,
Okay.
That's my win condition. I actually win with Tentacles for Arms. Nobody believes me. It's great.
Well,
Do we see the Sylvanas Brawl, you think, or is that going to
what
be
about
just
Black
Black
Knight, Harrison Jones?
I mean, you draw too much.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You draw so much.
So maybe Sylvanas Brawl is the best option.
Okay.
None.
I don't think you're
Knight.
playing Harrison, though. Like, it just feels... Yeah. Maybe you are.
You know what's funny?
You did pick up the
Paladin's at
map,
12.
so I guess you don't care, right? Maybe you did pick up the map, and so it doesn't matter. But it feels
Paladin's at 10.
Yeah, but as I was saying, Tentacles for Arms is infinite damage. Like, everybody laughs, but this thing really wears you down in those fatigue matchups. The second Brawl is there as insurance, and so he can pull the trigger on the first one next turn if he wants. And we're gonna have to see some Forbidden Healings very soon, I think.
Did he use already the Ragnar's Light Lord?
Not that I remember.
Not in this match, right?
Actually, yes, it was tanked by Elise. He face-tanked
Okay,
it with
right.
Elise. Sorry, I lied.
So Forbidden Healing is the last healing in his deck?
Yeah, he doesn't play Lay on Hands, I don't think. Not with this list. So it's going to come down to whether or not he can get an Azoth with Tyrion, but the Brawl, again, is there to do a lot of damage to a filled-up board. And he's going to have to trade away the 1/1s if he wants to extract value out of anything he's got. And the armor stacking is still not problematic enough for Payton. The 1/1s didn't do anything.
power. It's, okay, like the thing you want to do in this situation, because you need to get something going on the board to put the pressure and put your opponent into a position where he needs to reply and make an answer to those cards.
And there's no good answer to Sylvanas, really. Like, you have to brawl this board. With your own Sylvanas, it's great. I mean, you can go Sylvanas, you know, coin brawl, kill a 1/1 first, so, you know, you have a higher chance of stealing theirs.
But there's the same chance of them stealing yours.
If yours dies, or if theirs dies. Yeah, it's the same chance, of course. But I mean, I don't know if it's a 50-50 you're willing to take, because you're ahead right now, if you look at it that way. You could brawl first, sure. I don't mind. Everything goes. Harrison for draw is probably a big no-no.
Bloodhoof Brave is also not doing much in this matchup because of the Stampeding Kodos.
True. You could always just shell slam Sylvanas. I mean, it's such an easy way to develop something.
No time
He's gonna...
Oh my god, he's pulling the trigger!
No, he's gonna go for the shell slam play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, he's brawling, okay.
Okay.
I thought he was gonna go for the shell slam next turn.
Okay, let's see what happens, because this is interesting, and this is a...
Okay, which one wins?
Which one won?
Oh!
my!
Well, it's not too bad, right? Okay, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. It's pretty
Because
terrible
in
because
the
you
Zot
don't have
does not
Sylvanas and Zot.
Yeah, but, you know, you can always... You don't need Sylvanas off of N'Zoth.
What the...
You don't need her. You can get her, but everything dies to ball anyway. So...
Your magic shall not save.
So are you dead?
No, you're
Not
not.
yet.
Not yet. The Tentacles for Arms will kill you.
Okay, so just one Forbidden Healing, and that's it, right?
Right.
Ooh. And
There's,
now,
is
Monkey.
there a burn? The Grom is gone.
Nope.
Slime is not.
So the last card is the Monkey.
The Golden Monkey, yes.
Yes.
You don't want to change, like, I know for a fact you don't want to turn Tentacles for Arms into a Legendary. It's probably worse.
Unless it's Tyrion?
Even then. Well, yeah, I mean, you can't
Second
know. It could be
Malkorok?
Laura Walker Cho. Oh, second Malkorok into another Tentacles for Arms. And then you just juggle them. That's the dream. So you play Emperor Thorson. You reduce the cost of the Tentacles, you know, to 0. And then you just bounce them back infinitely till the end
Well,
of time.
they are not being decreased. The mana cost will not be decreased when they're going back to the
No,
hand.
you'd probably have to get Nexus Champion Sarad into some kind of double black
There's a
water.
Forbidden Healing.
Back to
There was
25.
a 50% chance to draw it this turn, but I don't think it was necessary this turn to draw it, because you have seen Bash.
But honestly, Golden Monkey plus anything that deals damage is pretty bad.
Well, what does deal instant damage when it comes to legendaries?
Leroy.
Okay, that's a good one.
Let me
Baron Geddon can be played as it's too expensive. Blink Chuan is out of the meta, so that wouldn't work. There's got to be something we're not
Well,
thinking of.
Malkorok can actually give you
But
a
it's still
5
7,
damage.
right?
Or
It's on
7
turn
damage. Oh, yeah, right.
So
What I'm
it's
talking
7 mana,
about.
so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't quite. What deals 3 damage besides Leroy?
Not sure.
Murkai's out.
That's interesting, because he used a hero power instead of healing for 4 more health.
I think that's right, considering that you won't need more health than you've got. Like, there's no burn coming down from the warrior. You've seen Grom, that's his biggest choice, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
I like the decision, though. I love it.
So Brawl first, and then Monkey.
Nah, Monkey first.
And what will come up from the Monkey?
Leroy, Reno Jackson, okay.
And Malkorov,
And
look at that.
Malkorov, double Reno! What?
What is happening
way!
here?
What is this clown fiesta?
What is happening here?
Unbelievable.
And there's the Sky Captain Crag. That's another legendary that has charge.
But it's 7 mana.
But it's 4 damage.
It's 7 mana.
But it's 4 damage.
There's also Hugger. So let's not forget the poor little guy, but double Reno! Just think on this for a minute. Double Reno Jackson. In a tournament game with tentacles for arms. What's going on? I don't even know anymore. Thank you, Blizzard. What is this?
Now we would like to have that additional Sylvanas and Zod, because this will be a grindy game.
Absolutely. Though.
See? It was important.
One of the things, though, is that I think just with the Nazad that you have baseline, you're probably able to do a lot of work, but killing the opponent is another story. Right? It's another story entirely, because you're fatiguing, and you've got no more healing besides your true silver champion.
Well, your opponent is also fatiguing, and look at that force at hand.
Okay, so the Reno, you know, it's good, but, you know, maybe you just play Yidrig the Pure. It's alright. I mean, it really does negate that force at hand, as you spoke of so elegantly. It's just, what an... Yeah.
Chakki shakes his head in disbelief.
He does not know yet that the second Reno is in Payton's back pocket.
And he can sacrifice his own Karn Bloodhoof to get it back.
Not yet, no, that's right. Correct. He can't play Nazoth yet, is what we're getting at, yeah. What a funny situation. What a great... I mean, we've seen 2 of these games so far, and each of them has been a bit of a ridiculous outcome. He's just going to go for the Tyrion, and honestly, it's fine. There's no more brawl. Black Knight's the worst case, but you get the weapon back. Harrison Jones would then kill him, so that weapon is sticking in your hand.
What if that would be a Black Knight?
Sure, but you get the weapon.
But you have True Silver Champion.
Okay, you get another weapon.
But I don't know, man. I just thought, like, maybe just humility. And
he doesn't know there's Reno. Understand, like, there's lethal in his mind. Like, in his mind, there is no Reno Jackson coming up. And 5 damage from 5 damage from Ashbringer plus the 5 here is usually enough. And looks like another tentacles from Mars.
No way that happened.
And this Clown Fiesta is going to end as Payton bows down to Chakki 3-0 in favor of the American player. So apparently Payton will not be waiting for China.
But
oh my god.
What was that? I don't even know.
Juggling the tentacles. Like, imagine juggling the tentacles.
Apparently Malkorov really likes tentacles for arms.
It's pretty scary,
And Payton
actually.
really likes his Reno Jackson, but this time it didn't save him. But a really interesting long game, and Chakki again 3-0ing with Paladin.
Yeah, there's really nothing you can say about Chakki's decision-making all the way through, despite the fact that, you know, I think the Tentacles for Arms for Payton turned out to be a very good outcome on the first Malkorov. On the second one, perhaps not so much, but on the first one, it ended up being a really big deal, and I don't think Chakki expected to be pounded down by... you know, Tentacles.
Absolutely. It felt close, but on the other hand, when you are forced to pull a trigger on the Golden Monkey, you will not have the brawl for Nizov, and Nizov is bringing a lot of power to the table.
Right.
So it's really hard to come back from there. But overall, Chakki said it's going to be a bad matchup for him, but then it didn't seem
we
like
discussed that before, right? We said that it might not be
What
as
is he on
far-fetched,
to?
right?
This guy's doing just fine. Let's let him do some self-deprecating jokes again.
Absolutely, absolutely. So whenever Chakki is ready, he's going to join us. But Chakki is joining Terrence in the finals
That's
of
right.
DreamHack Austin. So we have 2 American players that will be fighting against each other. Chakki, welcome to the desk, and congratulations on your 3-0 with Paladin again. What's the magic behind it?
Yeah, I mean, I just practiced a lot of Paladin coming into this tournament. I think it's like one of the strongest, if not the strongest decks right now. I was pretty happy to see it unbanned, pretty sad to see my Warrior ban though, and yeah, once I got through the Rogue game, I mean, I was pretty confident up 2-0 with just Warrior to beat. And it was a weird Warrior game.
Oh, that was definitely weird. He had a second Reno Jackson in his hand.
You had no idea what was coming your way, man.
when I saw the tentacles farms, it comes up as just a 2/2 weapon, and I'm like, oh, nice, you got something bad. And I scroll over, I'm like,
This is
why
really
is
good
this
in the
a card?
matchup, right?
Yeah, that card was actually decent, right?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that he didn't really have much damage because he used Grom so early, which was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I just knew the most damage he could do was just the tentacles farms plus Baron Geddon. I don't know if he had that. I couldn't remember.
Nope.
So that'd be 4 damage max. So when I was at 5, I thought about not healing, and then I realized I'd be dead to like Golden Monkey into a charge like Leroy.
We talked about that.
So I was just like, all right, I think I win if I just heal. I made 2 dudes, because 2 dudes. And shout out to Brian the Rat Cortade, who was trying to tell me to not play Justicar. That card has been owning.
Who told you that?
Brian the Rat Cortade.
You're fired. No, I mean, that card is just great in Paladin right now,
Yeah.
especially with all the priests and warriors that you'll find trying to counter
We
the
have a
aggro.
slow meta. Justicar
Yeah.
is like the card to play in every single control deck.
Yeah, that was something that we came to kind of in testing within like the last day of submission. It was like, we realized maybe things are going to be really slow. We kind of made a read on the meta, and it seems to have worked out. I mean, I've faced a lot of slow decks, and we have slow decks too. And so, yeah, it's just really worked out. Again, I just really want to thank Nostum, Muzzy, Frank, all those guys for the lineup. And that's admirable for just helping me out with picks, bans, stuff like that.
It's very cool
Absolutely.
to see the teamwork.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like every player has in the shadow a lot of other players that help him, and you're here. You have one more opponent, and if you win the next match, you'll be the grand champion. Do you
First
think?
DreamHack champion in Dignitas.
Yeah, right.
Can you do it? Do you think now
Exactly.
that you've done this, do you think that you can do
or
this?
is it again a bad matchup?
This is the first time I'm going into a matchup, and it seems good.
Good.
It's like a bad omen. I've gone into 3 bad matchups, and I've won every time,
man.
just crushed
Jinxed.
them. And now I'm going into a matchup, and like he doesn't have the really greedy decks. Like Terrence has just aggro shaman, patron stuff that we kind of came prepared to beat.
But
Now you said it.
Now I'm
and-
just kind of like, yeah, I'm jinxing myself, man.
Whoops.
all right.
I don't
Well,
know,
that's
it's-
great. That's great.
It's hard not to get to this point and think like, all right, now's the time to think about winning. But yeah, I'm just gonna go into it, play my best, and hope that gets the job done.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Cool.
It was a blast, the match that we've just witnessed. Guys, do you have any more questions for Chakki?
No, I'm all good,
I think
man.
you should prepare mentally for the finals, so
Yeah.
it will
True.
keep you up here.
Definitely gonna go do that. Gotta prepare for my band, my picks, all that.
All right, thank you so much, Chakki. And for you guys, we're going to prepare for the next match as well. The next match upcoming is the final Chakki versus Terrence M. Stay there. We'll be right back.